everyone, and welcome back to InstaGATOR of Change. Now, today's going to be a little different. I got a very special guest. If you can see the resemblance, yes, this is my son. I get it. He's a little bit more tan than I am, a little bit more taller than I am. I told him one day I'm going to find out who his daddy really is because he owes me a lot of back pay. But today we're going to take a little different approach, right? We're going to call it, I don't even know what we're going to call it yet. We're going to come up with something fancy to call it. But basically, for the next however long it takes, we got 3 questions to ask each other. Now, I have no idea what he's going to ask me. He has no idea what I'm going to ask him. But we're just going to sit back and we're going to talk about life, right? So, taking a little bit of different approach this week. Hope you enjoy it. Before we get started, I'm going to swing it on over. So, be gentle on him. It's his first time on camera. So, he's probably going to laugh a little bit. But go ahead and introduce yourself.
Dominic Barnshaw. His second and youngest son. Let's go.
All right, so he also forgot to tell you that he is 16 years old. He's a sophomore in high school. Yeah, sophomore in high school, which, with the whole Corona quarantine stuff, his sophomore year got pretty much jacked up. He is a football and lacrosse player, athlete, kind of all around. But other than that, we're gonna get rolling. So who's gonna ask the first question? We have no idea. So I got my trusty coin here that we are going to flip. Now, here's the deal. Heads or tails?
Tails.
Tails. All right. It is tails. Are you asking the first question or am I? I'm asking the first question. All right, so I already know what my first question is. If there is one thing that you could change about your generation, what would it be and why?
What would it be? The attachment to our phones. The attachment to our phones, definitely. That's because we're connected to them too much. We're on them 24/7, and that makes our work ethic terrible. We never get stuff done, and we procrastinate a lot. So yeah, our phones.
I could dig it.
Yes, sir.
See, this is easy.
It's light.
Yeah, light work. All right, your turn.
How was it like playing football 4 years throughout high school, then not having the grades to go to play at the collegiate level, and then having to join the Air Force?
That's like 8 questions in one. That's like, I see what you're trying to do right now.
Yeah.
So, as you know, I played football from the time I was 6 and to the time I graduated at 17, right? So, my whole life was football. My father brought me up on football. Like, it was everything. In high school, I didn't take high school seriously. I'm really surprised I even graduated. I think they kind of just farmed me through and pushed me through just because I was an all-state athlete. But to be honest with you, I didn't concern myself with grades until everybody my senior year started getting accepted to colleges. And that's when it really started hitting me. And it was funny, I always used to think of myself as dumb, and I never really applied myself. And it wasn't until I joined the military that I actually started applying myself and realized that I wasn't dumb or wasn't stupid. I just had to figure out what way of studying worked for me. So, hindsight being 2020, obviously everything worked out. I joined the military, met your mother, had 3 wonderful, great kids. So I wouldn't change that for the world. But if I could go back, I wish I would have paid a little bit more attention to my grades and what I needed to do to get into college to at least have that choice. Because what I did was I neglected things to the point where I didn't have a choice. It's not like I chose to join the Air Force over college. I didn't have the choice of college. Mm-hmm. So then it was, okay, what else can I do? The one thing that, I encourage all you kids to do is to set yourself up in life to where you have a choice. And that way, if you want to join the military, cool, but it's a choice. If you want to go to college, cool, but it's a choice. So for me, Looking back at it, love playing football. Would have loved to play at the collegiate level. By no means would I have made it to the pros. I'm about 5'8" and 170 pounds soaking wet. So that was never really a dream or a goal, but it would have been really cool to play at the collegiate level. But unfortunately, I did not take my grades or school serious enough to have that be an option. So, good to go.
Yes, sir.
Are you happy with that answer?
Yes, sir.
You better be. Oh, thanks. Thanks, buddy. All right, now I got to go to my trusty book.
All right.
Oh. So this question is about me, but it's about me in relation to you. You're 16 years old. I have served in the military for over 20 years. How has me serving in the military impacted you and your childhood?
Mm, I mean,
This ain't the time to be politically correct. Like
oh yeah, I got you.
this is straightforward.
How old was I when we lived in North Carolina?
Man, I don't know. You was a baby, like 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, around 4 or 5. That's when it was really hard. It was like because that was like the start of your career, so that's when you did a lot of the employments. I mean deployments.
Mm-hmm.
You were gone a lot. You were overseas, and like it was like there was a piece missing for home. So it was like not being able to see you walk through that front door every day. That was pretty hard, and just like all the moving around. I mean, when I was younger, going to like school to school, that was pretty tough. Having to get a new group of friends, having to meet new people. I mean, it was good, but it was like hard at the same time. Uh, One thing I will say, like, I don't remember, like, when we talk about your career, I don't remember the uh, deployments and all that. I don't remember all the hard times. I remember all the good times. I remember, like, you walking into my classroom, fully dressed in your uniform, me crying and running to hug you. I remember those are the times I remember. Those are the times that stuck with me because it had been forever. And I remember when you went overseas for a whole year and you gave each of us a jar of gum. It was uh, 365 pieces of gum. And
Jelly beans.
jelly beans. And every time a day passed, we'd eat a jelly bean. And it just made it easier to handle.
Good?
Yes, sir.
All right. So it's funny. So what a lot of people don't realize is I put a lot of my career decision on my kids, right? Right, wrong, or indifferent, fair or unfair. I give them a huge voice, especially now that they're older. You know, I'm 18, 16, 13, and 11. They have a say. So I remember when I made senior master sergeant, the question was posed, hey, do you want me to try for chief? Or do you want me to just kind of ride this time out and then when it's time, retire? And the kids came to a decision of, no, we want you to try to go ahead and see if you can become a chief. Fast forward, here I am now as a chief, but they were the catalyst behind that decision to continue to pursue my career. And I like that. Another case in point is there was just an opportunity to take a position in another location. Great position for me as far as talent management wise, but would have moved me further away from the family, further away from the kids because they actually say right now about 2.5 hours away from where I live. And so I posed a question to them and I said, look, you guys take 3 or 4 days, you come together as a collective group, you develop your pros and cons, and you tell me whether or not it's worth me putting in for this position, right? And they have complete autonomy. They know that they can be 100% honest with me about how they feel, and that's how we have evolved to make this work. It took some time to get there, but we've evolved to the point where they have a huge voice when it comes to what I do in my career. So that's one of the ways we handle being a dual military family with children. So, all right, you're up.
All right. I just want to say again, repeat what he said from the beginning. We didn't know each other's questions, and we didn't have any insight on each other's questions. So your first question kind of messed mine second question up. But what's one thing you take from my generation that you wish your generation had?
What would I take from your generation that I wish my generation had?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few things. First, um, technological abilities, right? Uh, my generation didn't grow up with technology, right? The first piece of electronics I had, I think I was probably about maybe 8, 9, and it was like a 16-bit or 8-bit, whatever the heck it was, Nintendo, right? There was no phones. Like I remember being in high school and getting a pager and thinking I was cool. Your ability to navigate and learn new technologies, which has in turn made you more innovative, I think I wish is something that my generation had today, right? I don't think my generation is very innovative. I think we look a lot to the younger generations to be innovative. I think we put a lot of pressure on the younger generations to be innovative. Fair or unfair, I don't know. But I do believe that we look a lot at the younger generations like, hey, be innovative, fix this problem. When maybe if we grew up a little bit like your generation with technology and the ability to be adaptable and flexible, we could be innovative in that way, just as good as your generation is holistically.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the biggest thing, honestly, is, and I'm speaking specifically to your generation, not the millennials, right? So he is a Gen Zer. Um, there's a huge difference, in my opinion, between the millennials and the Gen Zers, and I think the Gen Zers, when I look at my generation, the millennials, and then the Gen Zers come across to me as really open minded, really kind of uh, embracing of all, to where we again are a little bit more closed minded and a little bit more narrow focused, and hey, this is the way it's always been. Gen Zers, I think, are not only in tune with technology and embrace technology, but I also think that they're also the same generation that wants to get out there and get their hands dirty, that wants to get out there and get things done, that understand that there's a difference between winning and losing, and not everybody gets a ribbon, and not everybody, eighth place doesn't get a trophy, right? So I think you have a great balance between my generation and the millennials. And that's one thing that I wish my generation would be able to take on.
I respect that.
Any follow ups? You good? No?
I'm good.
All right. This is my last question.
Jason Barnshaw's third and final question.
All right. So, me, as a father,
Mm-hmm.
I want one good thing you learn from me and one bad thing that you learn from me.
Oh.
And don't forget, I still got that college tuition check.
Oh.
One good thing, one bad thing.
um.
The fact that he has to think this long is bothering me a little
Just
bit.
your Well, one. All right. Well, let's like one bad thing I learned from you. Like.
Well, what one bad thing you learned by either watching me or listening to me or something that you're like, oh, yeah, I better not follow that, or I better not do that, or oh, lesson learned, don't be like that.
Uh. I'll do the bad thing first. uh. Just sometimes like attitude wise, like you'll get like in like a certain type of mood with one person, and then it'll just like all go downhill from there, and like then it'll uh, affect like everybody else because you'll be like when you're in like one of those moves, nobody can tell you nothing. But I mean, that's one thing. That's one bad thing I learned.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also like something as like a son I picked up
Oh yeah.
because I'd be doing that. I'd be doing the same thing too.
Yep. You got my temper.
So
And when I'm mad, everybody's mad,
yeah.
right? Because I make everybody mad. Okay.
One good thing overall, your strive for greatness. I mean, just your work ethic, the way you apply yourself day in and day out. Like because of that, that made me want to look up to you and uh, I don't know how to put it, like soon become the man you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You make tear.
Yeah.
Tear. No. Nope, I can get that.
So,
I kind of figured that was going to be your bad answer, though.
yeah. Yeah.
I kind of figured that's what it was going to be.
But that's something we can work on together, though.
Yep, facts. All right,
So, yeah.
your last one.
So, going on 40. The past 2 decades. What are 3 things you wish you could change?
3 things I wish I could change over the past 2 decades. All right. First two jumped in my. This was easy. All right. So number one, I wish I would have spent more time with my father.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because he passed away 12 years ago or so. Wish I would have spent more time with him. It's not like we had an estranged relationship, but obviously you don't know what you have until it's gone. He passed away very unexpectedly. So looking back at that, our relationship really started blooming after I graduated high school and when I joined the military. I definitely wish I would have spent more time with him. With that, I'll roll it to y'all. Don't know if I could change it, but if I had the ability to wave my magic wand, I wish I could have been around more for your youth. You know, as you're going through things. You know, because I did miss birthdays. I missed the birth of your sister.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I was deployed for the past what 6 7 years. I've been 10 hours away.
Yeah.
So if I could go back over the past 2 decades, I would make more of a point to try to get myself, and again, I don't even know if I'd be able to, but try to get myself as closely located to y'all as I possibly could. I think even with the distance, I think we did well. You know, it's nothing for me to hop in a car, drive 10 hours, watch a lacrosse game, and then drive back another 10 hours.
Yeah.
So, and then thirdly, that's tough. Thirdly, no, you know what? This is easy. Thirdly, so obviously me and their mother are divorced, right? We're both remarried, both happy, but the first what 5 6 7 8 8 years of our divorce were very very hard, right? We were at each other's throats. And it wasn't until maybe what about a year ago that we've all got on the same page, like to the point where we will do things together as a family, which blows people's minds that, you know, me and Sherry go over to my ex-wife and her spouse's house to have a barbecue or have dinner, or we share holidays. If I could go back, I would make a point to put in as much effort as to getting where we are now sooner, because you can tell how much of an impact that has on y'all and us to be. Now don't get me wrong, they hate it, right? They hate it because we do talk all the time, right? So there is no getting over on one or the other parents, right? So, but holistically, you can tell how much happier the kids are because me and their mother are just in a really good spot right now, and that's including, you know, her spouse and Sherry. Like we all really just get along, and it took a while to get here, but I'm glad we're here. But yeah, I wish I'd have kicked that sooner.
I mean, yeah.
So there's your 3 things. You lightweight.
You lightweight.
Lightweight, son. Any follow-ups? Any save rounds? Alibis? That wasn't that bad.
That was easy.
Wasn't that bad. All right. So I'll go ahead and close it out. I got one question. Just popped into my head. What does the future hold for you? And how can I help?
Going to junior year, I don't know. I'm just taking it day by day, trying to gain weight, trying to get on these coaches' radar, because sophomore year, summer, and the junior year, it's an important summer for my recruiting process. So, I mean, just keeping me focused and keeping me in the gym, just keeping me on my stuff. I mean, that's all we can really do. And just get it done.
Easy enough.
Yes, sir.
All right. So that was three, and look, that didn't even take 30, right? 20 minutes, man, in and out, quick and fast. I'm gonna try to get the other kids in here. All right, they may not be ready for camera time yet. We'll see. Nick was the first one. Uh, Nick was the first one. He was like, look, Dad. He was like, let's roll. So he wasn't ready for all the lights and everything. That kind of caught him off guard. But really hoped you enjoyed. As always, if you did, like and subscribe. Let us know what you thought. Let me know questions going forward. Do I bring Nick back and pick up on some questions that maybe I missed? Throw me some questions that you wouldn't mind asking maybe one of your children. Or if you had the opportunity, maybe one of your parents, right? I'll bring him back on here and I'll put the screws to him, man. I'll ask him all the tough questions. Or if you have questions for him to ask me, shoot them over to him. I'll definitely pass them along. If not, this has been InstaGATOR. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for sharing in this time with me and my family. Have a great one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and continue to take care of one another. Out.